What's happening, good people? It's Tone Space back here again. Now, I was just watching this and I found a lot of interesting things, a couple of interesting things from it. And I just figured I'd chop it up about it real quick. Now, just to give y'all a preface to what I'm talking about, to what's going on, little background, little primer, what have you. We're talking about Booker T. If you're not familiar with Booker T, he is a longtime WWE and WCW sports entertainment pro wrestling legend. He got his start out. He hails from Houston, Texas. He, is obviously a black man. It's the guy that is to the right of the screen right there. From Houston, Texas. He's been in the wrestling business for decades, probably since like what, late 80s, at the no further than like early to mid 90s, something like that, out in WCW. He has a typical hood background, so to speak. In his resume, he was arrested for I think robbing a store or something like that. He did some time. He learned about the pro wrestling thing. He had a nice big physique and all that. He got in the game along with his brother by the name of Stevie J. They started out as a tag team called Harlem Heat that was on WCW. From there, he rose to prominence as a singles sports entertainment professional wrestler, and he went on to win a lot of titles, five-time WCW champion, then went to WWE, and is one of the few black men that actually won, as they call in WWE, the brass ring or the heavyweight title. However, it's very important to point out, I was actually chopping it up with my homeboys yesterday just about this very thing I'm about to say. Very few black wrestlers have gotten the actual real WWE heavyweight title. They split the shows up, so there's like a secondary big belt and then there's a primary big belt. The Rock has gotten the primary big belt, and The Rock, he's black, by way of his father, so he's definitely black on the strength of that, but he's not like a real dark melanated brother. You know what I'm saying? That's like if I would have won the title, you know what I'm saying? I'm black all day, but at the same time, it's obvious that there leaves a lot of open room for it to be like a light skin. We want him to be black, but not too black if we're going to give the belt to a main guy. You know what I'm saying? But a gentleman such as Booker T, heavily melanated brother, has never won the actual main title. I don't think any black wrestler has in WWE. I haven't been watching recently, as I understand Kofi Kingston, who's comparably as melanated as Booker T, has won a title at WrestleMania. However, I think it's some weird situation where the title belt itself is the main belt, but he won it on the secondary show. Maybe someone in the comments can help me out. Maybe maybe that streak has been broken and a black man, heavily melanated black man, is like the main champion or has won the main championship in WWE. Y'all can let me know. But I did want to point that out. He amazing athlete, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, one of the most entertaining, hands down. I got mad love for Booker T. So even this video I'm doing here, I'm just, calling it down the middle, telling it like it is. But I do want to let that be known. I got love for Booker T. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorites. I remember I was in a WWE show around the time when he was on his come up and they wasn't giving him a chance to have the real gold. I had my sign. You know how you get your signs in the audience, you draw with the marker. My joint said, "Stop screwing Booker." You know what I'm saying? I was near the front row, had that joint, so Vince McMahon, he was in the ring, he could see it and all of that, right? But, so I did want to point that out, but he's one of the top tier legends in wrestling, hands down, if you're not familiar with him. Of course, y'all familiar with Hulk Hogan. If you're a casual wrestling fan, not a wrestling fan at all, or hardcore wrestling fan, you're aware of Hulk Hogan, and he comes from wrestling. Stuff like that, he's like the figurehead of wrestling, or has been decades back, and he paved the way, yada yada yada, for the real American and all that other crap and everything. Because we're gonna go into it on this video. You know what I'm saying? In front of the people, Hulk Hogan is like, eat your vitamins, say your prayers. He's Mr. Wholesome, Mr. America. Inside joke. And he's just all of that on the surface, but behind the scenes he's done so much grimy stuff to different people. He was like a real bad guy, like beyond wrestling, beyond Hollywood Hogan. He's like a real heel, like a straight up douche piece behind the scenes or whatever. And we're going to kind of go into a little bit of that in this video right here. And I was just watching this and I was like, whoa. So basically, Booker T has a show, a podcast. This was published on April 24th, 2019, about a week ago. It's a podcast he has with another gentleman. What's this guy? Brad Gilmore and Booker T. They have a podcast called The Hall of Fame. Very apropos, very fitting. Booker T being a two-time WWE Hall of Famer himself. One as a solo wrestler and another with his partner Stevie J. Harlem Heat, legendary tag team. Booker T, legendary singles competitor. Now, what they're discussing in this little clip is, okay, Hulk Hogan, who I also now have to add is a Sunday Christian, you know what I'm saying? Really on the surface, really all about that Christianity and God on the surface now. However, Hulk Hogan back in, I think, 2006, or it may have been earlier, maybe 2005, some audio was caught because Hulk Hogan had a best friend by the name of Bubba the Love Sponge, who had like a talk show thing, kind of like on some Howard Stern type stuff or whatever, right? Hulk Hogan was having sex with Bubba the Love Sponge's wife. Now, I don't know if it was consensual, if Bubba allowed it, or if he was doing it behind his back. I forget. I think it may be some weird stuff on some partner swapping, or maybe a one-way, I take yours, you don't get mine type thing, with Bubba Love Sponge permission, I believe. But don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. But what is known is that he was having some kind of affair, be it allowed or not, with Bubba the Love Sponge's wife. Your Sunday Christian, your Hulk Hogan, with the crucifix on his neck, and you know what I'm saying, praise the Lord and all that type of stuff. Praise the Lord on a Sunday. Hulk Hogan, Sunday Christian. I say, you know, I preface the whole Sunday thing for a reason. You know what I'm saying? You know, if you get it, you get it. You will know soon if you don't get it, as I'll be going more in depth about things at that level as well. But for the sake of this video, yeah, Mr. Sunday Christian broke the covenant of marriage. He defiled somebody else's wife, yada, yada. However, that's not even the crux of what this thing is about. But, you know, during that old weird stuff he was doing with homeboy wife, some comments were released, be it pillow talking with the wife or something like that. And there was an exchange. And basically, Hulk Hogan ended up saying the N-word, you know, nigger. Yeah, he said nigger. Hulk Hogan did a couple of times, right? Now, when I was watching this little Booker T thing, because I remember the Hulk Hogan thing and the whole scandal, he ended up getting fired from WWE, all types of stuff like that. His career got like turned to mush and everything like that. I remember that. But I didn't remember the context that he said it in. I totally forgot. You know what I'm saying? So now, after I watched this video, I went and played the actual audio of when Hogan said that. And I'm going to share that with y'all. So everything is going to come into perspective. Trust me. So while I was watching this Booker T thing with him chopping it up with Hogan, his homeboy and all that type of stuff, I was feeling a little like, it's kind of weird. But at the same time, I was like, well, maybe Hogan just said it on some casual shit. It wasn't really on some intended racist stuff. And that's the way Hogan's trying to play it off in this little conversation Booker T is having with him. But we're going to get to the audio and everything's going to make sense. And you're going to see why I titled this video what I titled it. So what I'm going to try to do is skim through, you know, the highlight parts. I ain't going to run the whole 15-minute thing down or whatever. But I do want to play some important parts from from their exchange, just so I could bring the entire point home. So let me just hit play and see where it goes. And, you know, I'll probably skim through as it goes on, you know, just for time's sake to make this thing short. Let's go.
You know, you was labeled as a racist, okay? And the thing is, and I just want to put it out there. I think if you were a racist, that was a moment, that was the opportunity that a racist would have taken advantage of. And say, man, I'm gonna get this ninja fired. He gonna work for me. You know what I mean? That's what I think a racist would have done. And then as well as,
okay, real quick, what Booker T is basically saying is, you know, there's been times that Booker T and Hogan have worked in the same company together, stuff like that. So he's just saying, if Hogan were a racist, this is what I'm getting from it, that during their tenure, their time working together, and, you know, Hogan in WCW and in WWE for that matter. Hogan had pull because he was like the guy or whatever, right? So it sounds to me like Booker T is just getting on the submissive coon train just out the Brit today, to be honest with you. It sounds like he's saying, well, just on the sheer fact that we worked together and you were this big highlighted guy and I was the little black guy in the business, you know, if you were really a racist, you'd have gotten me fired and everything. So basically he's saying just because we work in the same company together, the fact that you let me live and you didn't attack me or you didn't just outwardly do some like bullshit to me, oh, you can't be a racist. Like that has to be one of the most submissive things I ever heard a black man say in regard to a white man in regard to some racial situations. Let's go though.
Me, I've been black for now 54 years, and
54 years, you don't say. I'm guessing you're 54 years old. I mean, I've been black for, okay, I don't know.
Been in a lot of racial situations, and I kind of like, know the lay of the land. You could tell a racist by the people that he hang out with, his friends. That's how you tell a racist. Or you could tell a racist by the way a racist kids act. That's how you could tell a racist. You know immediately.
All right, well that sounds kind of logical, but at the same time, you being a black man, how do you really totally know who his friends are or how his kids totally act? Don't you know there's covert racism? Don't you know that this ain't the 60s or the 1800s where you could whip a crack a whip on someone's neck or have separate water fountains for black and white motherfuckers? Don't you know that it's possible that, there's a covert way of doing it? Oh, it's that nigger Booker over here. So, what's his little kid named Nick or something? Yeah, be cool around him. You ain't gonna rock out with that. We got political correctness and all that. Isn't it possible? You're not a white guy. How do you know Hogan's friends and the level of racism that they chop it up with each other? You being a black man, they're gonna hide their hand. They're not gonna throw the ace of spades out in front of you like that, dude. I mean, come on, that's just common sense. You just said that you've been around the block for a while in the business, seen racists, so you should be able to know that there's covert racism, and if anything, they're gonna put the covertness forward, or they're gonna hide their hand as much as possible. You may catch a slip up here and there, but you know what I'm saying? A motherfucker these days is going to be able to hide that card if they want to. You're a black man. You would have to ask a white man that's like your best friend that's not on that racist bullshit and have him be like a pseudo spook by the door so we could tell you what's going on as far as how they rock out on that type of level. But let's go. That was kind of stupid.
How did you feel after your situation, making a racist comment and then being labeled a racist? How did you feel about that? Because people make and I say that because people make comments all the time. Doesn't make them, it doesn't make them that.
You're saying words are one thing, actions are another.
Exactly.
Now keep this in mind, because I actually agree with them. Yeah, people can make comments, people can slip up, say nigger or nigga or whatever, and it doesn't necessarily qualify them as a racist just because they utter that, that those phonetics out their mouth, those two syllables or whatever. That doesn't qualify one as a racist. But I want you to keep this in mind when we get to the part where I'm going to play the actual audio of what Hogan said, the context and all that stuff. Yes, you are absolutely right. It's your actions that are going to speak more to racism, and if you're of that or not, than just, uttering a word nigger. You're absolutely right. But you might end up contradicting yourself when we really go back to the audio, which at the time of you doing this podcast, calling them up, you got to have your ducks in a row. I'm sure you had a little primer to remind you of what it is he said. You played the shit, or at least you looked up the TMZ story where they recapped the, the transcript of it. But let's go.
Well, I mean, and that's what a lot of people don't understand is people can say a word or make a mistake, and that doesn't mean that's who they are. People that keep bringing it up and keep pushing it forward, those are the people I worry about. But for me, it was really a delayed reaction. I mean, that's kind of like why I asked you. I had used the word, and it was now it's going on almost 13 years ago. What's the date now? 19, almost 20?
Yeah.
19.
Yeah.
Now, I don't even know what year it is anymore. So it was said in 2006. And I was made aware of it probably, when did the darn Gawker trial start? I was made aware of it probably, I don't know time very well, so I'm probably saying about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't think longer than that.
Yeah.
6 years, maybe 5 years. So it was set in 2006, and then I was made aware of it about 5 years ago. And to tell you the truth, I don't remember that conversation, but that...
You remember the conversation. It was when you were pillow talking after you were banging your man's wife, Mr. Sunday Christian. How you don't remember that? It's all connected to like some monumental bullshit that you were doing. Of course you remember this shit.
That definitely was me, you know, and I definitely said it. And I mean, total idiot, you know, totally out of control, bad situation. There's a million excuses for it, but it was me. I said it, and I tried to be accountable for it. But the thing is, the people that know me, and it's really cool that you would say just because somebody says a word doesn't define them or doesn't mean who they are. Because the people that know me, the first person that called me when the publicity came out was my minister, Michael Beckwith. You know, he runs the Agape Church there in Culver City. He came to my house and married me and Jennifer.
Very important. Listen him up here, Mr. Sunday Christian. He's going to go into his Sunday Christendom. Let's go.
And he's one of my good friends, and he's Afro-American, you know. So first thing that happened was my minister called me. He goes, Terry, have I heard we've got some problems? And I explained to Michael what happened. And he goes, you know, first off, God forgives you. And he says,
this is one of the problems I have with the whole Sunday Christendom, and particularly like the Catholics that have the fathers, the priest, and all that blasphemous bullshit they do, bullcrap they do or whatever. He's saying that God forgives him. That's a conversation between Hogan or Terry Bollea, his real name, and God himself. Some Sunday, wrong day Christian preacher ain't the one to tell him that God forgives him. That's a conversation that he got to have with him. But let's go.
You know, whenever you have a small problem, tell your big God about your small problems. I said, Michael, I've already talked to him about it.
Side note, I heard he does have a small problem, no homo. Like the people in the locker rooms and the showers, they done been called him out. They said, yeah, Hogan rocking the what's his name? The Terrence Howard. For all y'all that saw Get Rich or Die Trying. Yeah, he got, for a big ass 6'7" nigga, he do got small problems. And I'm 6'6", and don't get it fucked up. I ain't nothing like that. I'm well proportioned. Let's go.
And he goes, don't worry what people think about you. Worry what God thinks about you. And he gave me some really good uplifting advice. And, you know, after that, there was a ton of support from all my friends.
All right, now mind you, he's talking about a conversation he had with his preacher, his pastor, or whatever, Sunday Christian dude or whatever, Roman Catholic, Pentecost, I don't know what denomination his thing is. But it's on some old Sunday stuff. But he's telling him that God forgives him. You're not God. You know, it's like the preacher's trying to play the role like he's the interceptor or the liaison for God. No, you're not that. You're not the Christ. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of bogus right there. And also keep in mind, as I said at the beginning of this video, this whole conversation with all this nigga shit that Hogan was saying, it happened while he was defiling another man's wife. Just totally disrespecting a covenant that holy covenant that Mr. Bubba the Love Sponge had with whatever wife that he married or whatever. And then Hogan's up in there, you know, ripping off the shirt, getting biz and all that. You know what I'm saying? Coming, you know, I forget what his phrases are. He's a punk. But yeah, so I mean, if you're really thinking about it, the little nigga shit that he was saying is probably the least of what should be the worries of what a pastor or a preacher would have to say about him in a situation. So when he was banging someone else's wife out, you ain't had no words for him about that, because the info of Hogan banging somebody's wife out, that had been came out at this point. They just didn't know about all this nigga shit he was saying. So as a pastor, you speaking to him, you calling him up like, yo, you want some nigga shit? Yo, do we got a problem? Blah, blah, blah. Where were you when he was like defiling someone of another man's wife, breaking all types of covenants and doing all types of abomination type of bull crap then? Was you hollering at him about that shit? Like, what's really good? You know, the nigga shit should be secondary to that. You know what I'm saying? For the sake of this video, sure, the nigga shit is the primary thing. But from a supposed pastor, you know, you kind of got your wires crossed, my man. Let's go.
And the hardest part was trying to explain to people that didn't know me. And some people only knew me because of that. Oh, my God, we never heard of Hulk Hogan. All
right, let me skip through this a little bit because, like I said, I'm not running through the whole 15-minute thing. I want to make this thing kind of expedient or whatever. Let's go. Let's see if I find some other key points. But I think y'all got the gist of it, basically. But basically, Booker was cooning. Hogan, you my man. Booker was referencing one of Hogan's best friends, I think Brian Knobs. who was in a tag team called the Nasty Boys, some two fat sloppy motherfuckers. And Brian Knobbs was like Hogan's best friend, or like he used to wipe his butt or something like that. He was like his jabroni or whatever, right? So Booker's saying that Brian Knobbs is white. Booker is saying Brian Knobbs is his man. They used to hang out. They hung out as early as a couple weeks back. He'd always have his back, blah, 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 blah. But then Booker also went on to say that Brian Knobbs is one of the only white people that Booker T has given the pass to say nigga around him. And he said that, when they chop it up, when they talk, he's always calling him his nigga, this, that, the third, blah, 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 blah. Now, I've spoken on this before, like, I don't know where Brian Knobbs' history is from and everything, but I've spoken on this before. White people that grew up in the same environment as black people saying nigga and everything like that. And me personally not having a problem with that if they're like hood bred and that's vernacular that they grew up with. I personally don't have a problem. I've got white people that say nigga to me or whatever that are from that environment that I don't take issue with. However, what I always do take issue with, and here's a clear distinction, is sure, I don't got a problem with it, but if there's other black people that do have a problem with it, whether you're from the hood or not, as a white man, white girl, whatever, white woman, whatever, if another black person does have a problem with that, you should respect that and not say that in front of that black person that does have a problem with it. It don't matter if they know you from the hood and all this and that, boom, boom, boom. Still, the line is drawn there. Sure, me personally, I don't really care about an utterance, period, what people, little words. And that's going to be a major point of what I make in this video. We're going to go beyond the word, beyond nigger, or whatever. And we're going to get to the real brass tacks of what the real issue is and why Booker T is on some straight up coon submissive shit. It goes beyond the nigger shit. But yeah, so I won't have a problem with a white person from the hood saying that, but I would have a problem with a white person from the hood that has a problem with a black person that don't want them saying that. You know what I mean? But let's go. Let's skim through this a little bit.
You heard him say this crazy word and it was on the news. That was the hardest part was
but knew you, never watched you. They was their first introduction, and people these days, they seem to hold on to everything. It's a different world that we live in today.
Okay, Booker went on to talk about how people shouldn't say the word, all this and that, blah, 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 nigger. Black people shouldn't say it. No one should say it. We want to raise the kids, the older people. There's millionaires, 40-year-plus people that grew up on Hogan that are black and still say it, yada, yada, yada. He ain't really saying much. I'm going to try to catch something he said toward the end that's kind of noteworthy. If I can't catch it, I'll just summarize.
Officer here from Galveston on the show, and he was talking about in school, the black kids said, the Asian kids said, the white kids said. It's just
notice as this interview progressed how much whiter Booker T's vernacular got. When he started this out, he was a little more natural, but now as the interview has progressed, you could see the Caucasianing of the larynx coming and the words coming out of his mouth as the interview progressed. Let's play a few more seconds of that. This is interesting.
It's just a word, and the word is destructive, and that's the end game, because
you went right back to black. That was interesting. Let's play a couple seconds back. You definitely went white boy for a minute, and then he just went back to himself a little bit. Let's go. I know I'm not tripping.
Black kids said, the Asian kids said, the white kids said. It's just a word, and the word is destructive, and that's the end game, To just let it play through. We had an officer here from Galveston on the show, and he was talking about in school, the black kids said.
Yeah, he definitely went white boy there for a second. Let's go. Let me see if I can find this part.
I was pissed off, and there's a million excuses, and it came out. But for me, understanding how powerful that is and how many people it hurt, I'll never say it again. Because
see, this is where Hogan's kind of being disingenuous. Hogan is riding on the fact that Booker is just prefacing Hogan saying the word nigga. He's making it all about the word. Those words, as Kramer said in the thing that got him in trouble or whatever. Hogan is riding on that. He hears Booker just making it all about that word, nigga, just the word, without the context. Nobody's talking about the context in which he said it. Being disingenuous, because there's no way that Booker has this thing not having his ducks in a row and didn't at least get a primer or a reminder of when Hogan said it and the context, because it's all about the context. So what Hogan does, Hogan rides on that. Oh, I'll never say that word again, as blah, we can't. And Booker's like, yeah, we got to stop saying that word. They're making it all about the word. But as you're going to find in the big, Twilight Zone twist of this video, it's not about the word. And I'm going to explain why. But let's hear some more of this bullshit from Hogan.
I don't want to hurt people. I'll come up with another word. I don't need that word if I have love for somebody and I see my best friend, or my brother of the road. I might call him my soulmate or my traveling partner. I'll come up with something.
Right,
I don't need to use that word. It's going to hurt.
All right. I still got love for Booker, but man, you want some Cooning shit with this shit, B. It's just what it is.
Did come out good come out of it, I think. No, because it is something that people need to talk about.
Yeah, and Booker's just going on about how we shouldn't say the word, but we're
perhaps
gonna get to it.
Will change them and motivate them to
saying the young kids, they see this show, they won't say nigger anymore. Okay, talking about black kids in the hood. He don't want them saying it either. He ain't talking about the white boys in particular. He's talking about the black people. He's kind of like trying to offset the blame in part by us or by black people and people in the hood. If we didn't say it to each other, then we wouldn't have the lane for white people to say it, and then you wouldn't get in trouble and all this confusion wouldn't be going on. You know what I'm saying? He's on some super coon shit. I'm picking up all this. I'm picking up on new coon shit as I recap it. Let's go.
I said, you guys said you haven't changed a bit. All you want to do is talk about damn cars and motorcycles.
Got your back, bro. Hey, man, like I say again, man, I know you got to get it.
Now, at the end, Booker T thanks him probably 2-3 different times. One is enough. Hogan, thanks for coming through, dude, whatever. He's talking about how he's a real good friend to him. He's honored, or I don't know if he used the word honor, but he's thanked him several times for coming on the show, for Hogan coming down from Mount Olympus and going on my little black ass podcast. Had to thank him a couple times, even though Hogan's a washed up piece of shit now because he did a lot of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. This nigga was just straight up cooning. But we're gonna get to the Twilight Zone plot twist. Let's go. Let me just end this shit real quick and then we'll get to it.
Out of here, but again, I just want to thank you for stepping inside the Hall of Fame and clearing all the air.
Now you had it right. You definitely want some Hall of Fame shit. You flaming right now. You want some pansy sucker shit right now. Absolutely. Hall of Fame it is for this particular segment. Aside from that, keep in mind, ultimately I still got mad respect and love for you, bro.
Man, clearing all the air. I love you, brother. Appreciate
you. Love you too, my friend.
All right.
Thanks, Hope.
We'll talk soon. All right, thank you guys. Bye-bye.
You was labeled.
Y'all ready for this plot twist? Okay, just to recap, they were chopping it up. Like I said, Hogan back in the day, he was boning someone else's wife, Mr. Sunday Christian or Mr. Purity and wholesome guy and everything, banging out somebody else's wife probably on some Hollywood satanic ritualistic, who knows what type of shit it is. We could go on Hogan all day. It's so many different pieces of bullshit that this piece of bullshit has done through the years. It's crazy. But they're chopping it up. They're talking about how Hogan used the word nigger some years ago in 2006. It got revealed in 2015. Some audio, some porn site put the audio out. Since then, Vince McMahon fired him from WWE. Hogan's been losing endorsement deals or whatever the heck he had going on, and he's basically washed up now. You know what I'm saying? And so they're recapping that, and Booker T was basically sucking him off, saying yo, you're still my friend, and it's all about the actions. It's not just about the word. You got to look at the actions. When I was in WCW and you were in there, you were the top guy. You didn't have me just kicked out and fired. So just by virtue of you doing that, how could you be a racist? Because racists are doing racist shit all the time, and it's all about what your kids do. Your kids aren't racist when I'm in front of them or when I see them, or your friends aren't racist to me, even though I'm a black man, and I know there's got to be some covert racism. You got to move more slick nowadays because, we're not in the 60s and the 1800s and early 1900s and stuff. And, I do know that white people, crackers in particular, and not to call white people crackers being the white racists, that they're very cunning and, they do their bullshit covertly and everything. But yeah. Since you didn't just unleash all that Hulkamania racism on me when I was in WCW and you just didn't bang on me hard body, homo intended, then how can you be racist? You can't be. Okay, so we're gonna get to the big reveal, and then, as I said, they kept making it about the word, nigga. They not once did Booker T, a black man, go into the context of why and under what condition Hogan was saying some nigga shit. But your man Tone Space is gonna go into the context that Booker T was too shook and too afraid to go into. So here, let's go. Let's go into the actual leaked audio. Hulk Hogan racist audio 2000 leak and transcript. Okay, so you get to see the words and you get to hear what he's saying. Now, this is the context. Again, this is after he was banging his supposed best friend's wife already on some bullshit. And here's a conversation he's having with her about his daughter, Brooke Hogan. As you know, she did a little bit of wrestling. She tried to, he tried to get her into R&B, pop music and all that type of stuff. Tried to get her into business and everything. And, I guess it didn't stick. But let's hear it and read it.
I'm getting ready to cut some serious bait. My daughter Brooke, she jump sides on me because I shelled out $2-3 million for her music, and I've been trying to tell her I've done everything fucking with him day and night on the radio like a jackass, and he's working with me to make it work. He goes said you really shouldn't call every day and do the shit I do. The South Beach record, this black billionaire guy, says he's like basically did more for her a year than anybody's done. Okay, he had one song after 10 months that she went back up and back still. And momentum, but I try to be the realist, and this is your option. You got a better option. Fuck said you can get signed with fucking. He's gonna put $500 million behind you, but right now there's nothing else. We're doing the best we can. So it gets to the point where I don't know if Brooke was fucking the black guy's son. Where they've been hanging out, I caught them holding hands together on the tour, they were getting close to the time before I'm giving a fuck, okay? I'm not a double standard type guy, I'm a racist to a point. Yeah. Fucking weird. But then when it comes to nice people,
and then the other woman says, well, we all are that way. We're gonna run that back. He said, so not only is he admitting that he's a racist, he's saying it to another white person on some casual shit, like as if this is commonplace among white people, or at least among his white people crowd. I'm not a double standard type of guy. I'm a racist to a point, fucking niggers. But then when it comes to nice people, and to which she replies, cuts him off and says, well, we all are that way. So it's like commonplace. So not only was he being on some racist shit, he was being on some casual, like water's wet, trees give us the oxygen we breathe. I'm racist to a point, like fucking niggers. You know what I'm saying? Just like throwing a phrase out there like it's commonplace. You know what I'm saying? How Tyreek and everybody tell us, all of us, to be on code and everything. This is like they're on code. Like, fucking niggers, we all are racist. We don't really fuck with these niggers like that, blah, 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 blah. So that's worse than just like a racist. It's worse than just a slip of an utterance or saying it out of context or saying nigger this and that. This is what I was talking about. It's not about the fact that he said nigga or nigger. It's the fact that he was just admitting to his racism. The nigger just happened to be, I don't know, the highlighted word that exposes his punk ass for being hard body racist. Let me run that back one more time, y'all. Listen to this shit, man. Yo. And this is the bullshit that Booker was on, because him doing a podcast, unless he just sucks and doesn't and not professional at all, he had to have went to this video or probably got the inside actual transcripts and read to get a primer or a recap on the context in which Hogan said that. Either he sucks at his podcasting job, or he's just being a submissive little coon ass bitch.
nice people. We all are that way. Yeah, fucking weird. But then when it comes to nice people, on tour, they were getting close to the time before I'm giving a fuck, okay? I'm not a double standard type guy. I'm a racist to a point.
I'm a racist to a point. Fucking niggers.
Yeah. Fucking weird. But then when it comes to nice people, we all are that way.
We all are that way. Yeah, cool. When it comes to nice people, you can't say I don't give a fuck if she, whatever he said, an 8 foot tall basketball players, if we're if we're gonna fuck with niggers, let's get a rich one. Let me mute my mic so y'all can hear it, because you know the audio is already kind of like fucked up. So hold on, so y'all can hear it.
We all are that way. Yeah, but when it comes to ice skating, you can't say. I don't give a fuck. She's already underneath the ball, but I'm a basketball player. If we're gonna fuck with niggers, let's get a rich one.
If we're gonna fuck with niggas, let's get a rich one. Not if my daughter, is gonna fuck with niggers, get you a rich one. It's kind of like he's already on like I don't know, the clan family mentality. If you're gonna bring this nigger swine into our lifestyle and into our presence, at least get you a rich nigger. It's already a nigger. How are you gonna bring this nigger around us? If we're going to fuck with niggers, us, we white people, your racist bullshit family that raised you. If we're going to now break the code and do this bullshit, at least get you a rich one.
The thing is, now they start doing these nasty emails, so someone will arrive at a relationship, and so now don't ever want to talk to anybody. No. I'm getting ready to cut.
Alright, so did y'all get the great reveal? That's basically it. The big reveal is this whole thing was never about Hogan saying the word nigga or nigger. It was never about that. It was about it was about audio exposing him as a racist due to the context in which the niggers were thrown around. He could have replaced nigger with black man. If you were gonna fuck with a black man, at least get a rich black man. I'm of course I'm racist. Fucking black people. The nigger word didn't have to be used. You know what I'm saying? I'll give you a perfect example. It's like let's say someone's going to kill somebody, right? Someone gets out the car, shoots some shit up. He jumps in a shiny, like, dope-ass, like, red Ferrari. Drives off. Bounces, right? And it gets caught on, part of this shit gets caught on film. But the reason he gets caught is because he was in a red Ferrari. It stood out. A lot of people saw that red Ferrari. You know what I'm saying? That's like what the nigger word was in this example. The nigger word was like the red Ferrari. It was the vehicle. It was the, the sparkling thing, the shiny thing to get people to pay attention to catch the motherfucker that shot somebody. But the motherfucker that shot somebody is the one that shot somebody. So in this case, Hogan's racism that he exposed is the equivalent to him shooting people, right? Him getting in that fancy red car is the equivalent of him dropping those AKA N-bombs saying nigger and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's the shiny red car. That's the thing that got people's attention, that people took notice of in order to leak that and put it out there like that. You know what I'm saying? But it was never really about him saying nigger. Vince McMahon said, "What up, my nigga?" to John Cena, and Booker T was in that skit on a WWE pay-per-view some years back. And that shit came and went. And punk-ass, bitch-ass Hulk Hogan even referenced that after he got fired and dropped by everybody. Vince McMahon could get on there and say nigger, but then I say it, I get fired. What a double standard. No, bitch, you know exactly why you got fired, because it's the context. It's not about the red Ferrari. Vince rode in his red Ferrari that day, but he didn't jump out and start clapping at anybody. You know what I'm saying? Is this sinking in? I'm sure y'all are getting this, right? It's not about the nigger word, and Booker T knew that. He had to have known that. I'm watching this shit like, yo, because I be forgetting a lot of shit. I don't pay attention to bitch-ass Hulk Hogan like that. So I'm watching this shit. I'm like, yo, after this, I got to look up the thing of when Hogan said that, because part of my mind, I was thinking, like, yo, wasn't it a little deeper than him just slipping up and saying nigga? It was a little more to that shit, if I recall. And then I look it up, I listen to this shit, I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. He was on some elitist shit with his daughter, and he didn't want her fucking with niggers. We're racist. We're all racist. Fucking niggers. Come on, dope. We all are. How are you going to bring this around us? If you're going to bring this around us, bring a rich one of this around us. It all comes down to Hogan jumping out the car, clapping. It's not about the nigger. It's about the context. It's about the details of the conversation with his daughter, not wanting her to be with black people. And a real big one is how casually he was talking about being racist to another white person. Yeah, we all are. You know, we're racist. Fuck niggas. That's some of it, nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was about. And Booker T, there's no way Booker T did not know that. So that's why in this example, I'm not going to say Booker T is straight up coon in every single day in his life. But in this example, Booker T, you cooned the fuck out like crazy, dude. You was like super coon on this thing. All hail King Coon Booker, the coon of the world. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Sean Mel, your wife. I mean, shout out. I ain't trying to bang on you too much because I got mad love for the brother. And you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I fucks with Booker T. But in this, you know, I just got to call it like it is, man. You knew exactly the context in which Hogan said that bullshit. You still had him on the show. Oh, we're friends, and if you were really racist, then when we worked together, you'd have gotten me fired because, you know, I'm just so thankful you didn't do that. As I recall in WCW, wasn't there? Shout out to motherfucking Vince Russo for all y'all wrestling heads and marks and fans that know what I'm talking about. As I recall, Hulk Hogan got kicked out of WCW toward WCW's decline toward the end. And Vince Russo was like, you're never gonna work in a WCW ring again, you piece of shit, or something to that effect. Hulk Hogan got ousted, and then what did Vince Russo do? He was a white man, I think an Italian dude. He brought out Booker T. Booker T beat someone, and that was his first reign as the WCW champion, even though they gave him some shit with a dent in it. I don't know what that was about. But, you know, from then on, Booker T won the title like 4 more times. So do I got to tell a black man to take after your homeboy Vince Russo? Because Vince Russo was about the people. You know what I'm saying? He didn't like the fact that Booker T was pushed behind back in WCW in those days. He didn't like that Hogan was running things and all the politics and all this other bullshit that was going on. You know what I'm saying? How was a white man on some better shit for a black man than a black man's being for himself? Now I could go into the spin-a-rooney and the bucking of the eyes and all of this and that Booker T did through the years. And granted, when I saw that shit, I definitely did take notice. I mean, one time SmackDown was on UPN. If you understand what's it, you pick a nigga, they had all the black Cooning shows and all that. SmackDown was on there. Booker T was on there doing his thing, spin-a-rooney everywhere. Every time he come out, do a spin-a-rooney, bucking the eyes and all that. I mean, I could go there. I've went there before with friends. You know, we don't like, yo, this nigga be on some Cooning shit. We've actually went there. But, I mean, ultimately, I just got love for the man because he's just a powerful, very amazing athlete, very amazing character, very amazing personality. Like, dude, Booker, you just so fucking talented that a lot of that shit I could give a pass. But in hindsight, when, as I understand, you're not even working for any of these motherfuckers anymore. You can just go ham. You just go ape shit. You can tell Hogan, like, yo, you are and always have been, always will be a piece of shit. If you want to get on my show, we're going to talk about how you're a piece of shit. We're going to play the transcript. What the fuck was you talking about? Well, you know, we're all racist, you know, fucking niggers. Fuck was that about? You could have really, like, dug in his ass. Matter of fact, let me show y'all the Booker that we should have had in 2019. Because at one point, for a little hot second, this Booker did exist. Even when he was all thankful and happy that Hogan didn't fire him when they were in the thing. But still, at the same time, there was one time when that very same Booker T, little of that nigga came out. And I ain't talking about no racist nigga. I'm talking about that nigga, that dominant black man came out of him a little bit. Let me show y'all what I'm talking about. Y'all already know what I'm going to play. So don't act like you don't. Let's go.
Expect the same thing is going to happen in this four-quarter match.
Let me tell you something, Gene Hogan. You out here talking about a clique. The only clique you need to know about is the Harlem Heat and Sister Sherry. See, because what you dealing with here is the brotherhood. It's non-stop from this point on in WCW. We take what we want, and after we take Lex Luger and the Giant, we want the gold, sucker. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga.
I should point out for the record, Stevie Ray, look at this. Take a look. We're talking about the rack, the torture rack of Lex Luger.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, that was back when you were in the same company, when you were all thankful that Hogan didn't fire me, Mr. White Man. Thank you for not firing me. But for that hot second, you got in your bag, and that Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga. And this is the part that a lot of people miss. This is the funniest part to me. Like after he said it, Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga. He put his head down like that. He was all like upset. He was like, what did I just say? But then for a hot second, that's why you got to get on your fucking shit. Especially now, because you were on some fucking shit back then. A lot of people miss this. I showed me and my cousin peeped this. This is the funniest part. The fucking shit. The fucking shit wasn't even when he said, we coming for you, nigga. It was what he said after that. Let's see if y'all caught him. We play that part again. You gotta get back on this shit, book.
you, nigga.
I should point out for the record, Steve.
Dad, we want the gold, sucker. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga.
I should point out for the record, Stevie Ray, look at this. Take a look. We're talking about the rack, the torture rack of Lex Luger.
Right there, y'all caught it? Nigga. Like after he said it, nobody picks that up except me. And then I think I showed my cousin, and then he peeped it, and we have a ball laughing at that shit. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga. And then what he do? He's like, I already said it, so I might as well go all out. Mean mug. Then you look at the camera again, nigga. He said the shit again. He like, yo, what's done is done. Let's just go fucking all out. We coming for you, nigga. Nigga. What happened to that Booker, man? Nigga. We need that. Let me run that back now that y'all know what I'm talking about. You'll know what to look for. That's how you should have been on Hulk Hogan's carrying his fucking like pills and killing people with different medicine through the years. Bullshit ass bitch ass nigga. Here you go. Y'all know what is it?
I should point out for the record, Stevie Ray, look at.
Take Lex Luger and the Giant. We want the gold, sucker. Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga.
I should point out for the record, Stevie Ray, look at this. Take a look. We're talking about the rack, the torture rack of Lex Luger, and what about the choke slam of the Giant? These are the things you're going to deal with tonight.
What about the
Nigga? That's how you should be, man. You done put all that work, done put a whole bunch of people over and got shitted on like you've been spitted on left and right throughout the company, and then they give you the secondary ass belt. Meanwhile, you can wash up all these niggas. You done whip fucking Batista ass back in the day over some stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Book. You got your own shit, just like I got my own shit right here. You think I have Hogan on this show? I wouldn't just like air his bitch ass out, his handlebar ass, bald ass bitch ass out? Nigga. That's who you should be. That second nigga. Nigga. Fuck you doing, man? I don't know. Let me end this shit. But yeah, I just want to do that. But I mean, ultimately, I still got love for Booker T and all that. But I'm calling it like it is. In this particular moment, you want some coon, soft, submissive shit when you shouldn't be. You 54 fucking years old, a black man looking like you like what, maybe 40 at best? Still Diesel and all that. Look at Hogan. He got to get shit and stuff stuck in his dick for it to stand up and press buttons on the back and hair. That nigga look all fucked up. He been looking all fucked up since like 99, since Hollywood Hogan and shit, or at least early 2000s. You know what I'm saying? You could still go in the ring if you wanted. Spin kick that nigga right in his face for that bullshit he talking about. But yeah, Hulk Hogan, you a piece of shit. And Booker should have came for you like he did back then, nigga. But I'ma say it, nigga, you ain't shit. And Booker, I got love for you. Shout out to Shawn Mel, Stevie Ray, all them people. But for this particular example, you want some straight coonery, and it just is what it is. Like, share, subscribe, or you see a whole bunch of shit on the screen. If you like the shit on the screen, read it and do whatever the shit says. I got the icon track list. All right.